Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Two Shot Tuesday with Barry Nixon and the host with the most, Jason Reilly, the maestro, as we're very fond of calling him that around the Two Shot Studios. Jay, how you doing today, my friend?
I'm doing great. That was a really nice, kind of warm intro as you kicked that one off. Really well done.
Well, at the time of this recording, we are still in the month of love.
Yeah.
So I got a lot of love to give, Jay. And you know what? It's going to continue well past February. So
Really?
Just giving you a heads up. It's going all year long.
I'm excited for that.
I've decided. And
what makes you decide that this is the year that love is going to stretch the entire year?
Because I think of all the years that you and I have been on this planet, I think we need love in 26 more than any other year, aside from maybe, I don't know, 1939. Probably could have used some love back then, but now we need love more than ever.
And we weren't there to help out in 1939.
We weren't.
So we are here now. And perhaps we kick it off by raising a glass to love.
Yeah, to love.
Why not? What have you got?
I don't think we've ever toasted to love before. This is kind of cool.
No, there was that one time where you were kind of all in the I love you phase. That was a few years ago. You were I love you to everything. And so we might have.
I'm still in that phase. I've just dialed it back a bit because it was getting weird.
It was.
I was
uncomfortable.
From certain people. Okay. You were asking me what I have, Jay.
Yeah.
It's the Bushmills 12 year. You know, I love it. What about yourself?
That's a real staple for you on the show.
It really is.
I was gifted, and I've got a little bit left of classic Jameson. You know how much I love a classic shot. So
absolutely.
To love.
To love. Ooh. By the way, and maybe I should have tested this, but you and I got together on Friday, and you put out an idea that maybe sometimes I get a shiver from the first shot of the evening because it's on an empty stomach versus you have already had your dinner. And oftentimes your first shot is smooth as a coal mountain stream.
Yeah. And did you eat yet?
No, I didn't have time. I'm again doing the empty stomach. And again, I felt the shiver.
I think it hits
so maybe
you're
onto something here.
I think so. You have to eat before one of our episodes and drink the same whiskey. And we're going to test that out. This is a proper lap. Unless you have a sandwich next to you and you'd like to snack before our second shot.
That'd be classy, wouldn't it? Yeah. Just chowing down. Yeah. Anyway, that's something for later, but this is going to be, this episode, Jay, is probably going to be pretty update heavy. We're going to do a 4K corner and some rip from the headlines just to preview our audience so they know what they're in for.
Yeah. Do you want me to kick off with 4K?
Please do.
All right. Yeah. This is a 4K that you lent to me.
Yes.
I'm going to talk. Did we talk about it on the show? I think we might have talked about you were just receiving it, but you hadn't even watched it yet.
Yeah. I think that tracks.
We did. Yeah.
But what I got to jump in right away and just say, you have watched it so quickly. This is already making my head spin. The fact that you only got it like not even a full week at the time of this recording, and you've already watched it. This is insane.
Yeah. Executive producer Aldo Roma and I needed a Saturday movie, and I said, I've got it. Barry, I realized as I was holding it after you gave it to me, we're going to talk about it. Let me just show it. 1408.
Yeah.
2007. Samuel L. Jackson. Yeah. 2007. And John Cusack, who did a fantastic job in this movie. Also, one of the executive producers, Harvey Weinstein. So if you're a fan of Harvey Weinstein, that hasn't aged well for him, but him and someone else from the Weinstein family were executive producers. It came up because this was back in the day when credits still ran at the front of the film. So
that's right.
You saw all of that.
And it's based on a short story by Stephen King.
I didn't know this movie existed, to be honest with you, Barry. I thought it was something else. I don't know why you thought to lend it to me of all the movies that you get, and you brought this one to me.
Because it's damn good.
And it's damn good. Put it in. And so I was like, since I don't know what this is, I'm not going to read the back of the package. I'm not going to look at anything. In fact, I asked ChatGPT only one thing because I knew there was a director's cut because it said so on the disc.
And which one did you watch?
The director's cut, the unrated.
Good.
ChatGPT, I said, just tell me the runtime of it. And it said 112 minutes. So that's all I needed to know. So I wasn't going to get antsy. Aldo and I sat down to watch it. No idea. I realized it was a Stephen King short story. Phenomenal, like a really great movie. John Cusack, like there are just some actors you can watch do almost anything, and like he's by himself for a good portion of this movie.
Yeah, almost the whole thing.
Yeah, almost the whole thing, and it just captivates you. And he's for listeners and viewers, kind of a writer. Stephen King often writes about writers who goes to haunted hotels and stays there, and is quite a skeptic of the spiritual side. So he likes to debunk these things.
Yeah, because he's never come across anything real until now.
And they try to keep him out of the room. Samuel L. Jackson does another classic. He likes to do small roles. He's not such a small role, but little chunks he pops in and out of this movie
Yeah.
and does a great Samuel L. Jackson job. And then it's John Cusack, and like I said, mostly by himself with a few other actors that come in and out, and he's
Yeah.
in this haunted hotel room. Yeah.
Yeah, in one room.
In one
Basically,
room.
the whole action mostly is
Yeah.
in one room. And Samuel Jackson, he pops back up, but only in the director's cut. So
Oh,
in the theatrical, that middle piece where he kind of pops in when he's freaking out, and he opens the bar fridge door and he sees him down that long hallway.
yeah.
That all that stuff is added for the director's cut. That did not make it in the theatrical.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's
Okay.
why I'm saying it just fleshes out the story far better.
More.
Like, yeah,
Yeah.
and it doesn't feel rushed. I was the director's cut, the theatrical, if you do end up just out of curiosity
It's quite a
to
bit
watch it,
shorter.
it is a bit
Yeah.
shorter. Yeah, it's at least 10 or so minutes shorter. And yeah,
Yeah.
anyway,
Okay. And so Samuel L. Jackson, he's also at the end. He pops in at the end. That must have been in the original cut. Or no, even at the cemetery.
I'm
He
trying to
must be.
remember whether he was. I don't know. I think it might have ended with, well, we can't say, well, I
We
guess
can't
it's a
say, well,
spoiler.
it's
You
10
know,
years old.
20, almost 20
20,
year
20
old
years old.
movie. I think the final scene is John Cusack in the hotel room after it's been burnt out, and he's talking to his dead daughter, and he just turns away and walks,
Yeah.
like
That's,
he then vanishes and
yeah.
just says, "Okay, we got to go." Who
That's
knows
it.
where he was going? We don't know, but I think that added scene was put in for the
At
director's
the,
cut, where Sam Jackson goes to the funeral and tries to return some of the dead writer's belongings to his ex-wife, and she
yeah.
doesn't want anything to do with it. And then he
Yeah.
pops up as a burned face in the rearview mirror, which I thought was a nice little added jump at the very end. It's like,
I
what
was,
the?
yeah.
Okay.
Jump scare. Yeah. There wasn't a lot of jump scares in the movie, but that one, yeah, pops in for almost no reason, but
Really?
it's
I
kind of
felt like
cool.
the clock radio going off with that song. There was a couple of
That's true.
moments
You're
where I was
right.
like, holy
Yeah.
shit. And then there was one crazy guy who comes charging at him.
Oh, yeah,
And we're
that's
like,
right.
what? Where the
And
hell did this
the
guy come
serial
from?
killer kid, it looked like, with the
Yeah.
knife.
Yeah.
In fact, a quote from all those who watched it was,
Mhm.
oh, the movie's good when you've got sweaty palms. And I did.
Yes.
Like, there was points when you're like, I'm anxious watching this movie because you're
Yeah.
not sure what's going to happen next.
Yeah. And then when you think at one point he's out, you
Yeah.
think he's out, and then, well, he's
And then
not
he's not.
out.
Yeah, he's not out. Because I was like, it happened. I'm like, oh, yeah, the surfboard accident. I forgot about that. Of course, that's
Yeah.
going to come back into play because they made nothing of it. And then it did. But
Which was
then
cool.
that's a fake out.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. The 4K itself. So one scene, there was one scene that really stood out for me for 4K, and it was because we
Mhm.
were watching it in a dark room, and it's when
Yeah.
that doorway appears, and he opens the door, and then suddenly you just see the doorway tiny in the middle of the screen. And it's black everywhere else. The blacks, Barry. The blacks. I couldn't tell where the TV ended and the rest of the room began. It
That's
was
amazing.
incredible. I was like, that's the 4K advantage. That and the black outfits at the end at the funeral, like when they're outside.
yeah.
It's like, it's not gray. There's no bluish coats. These are jet black outfits they're wearing, and it's like just the absence of color, but the depth in the blacks was incredible.
Yeah. And then you contrast that with those scenes at the beach, at his house right
Yeah.
on the beach, where it's bright and sunny. It just felt like you could feel that California sunshine. Yeah, it was really cool. I enjoyed the movie as well, and you can't really argue with the transfer at all. They
And
did justice to a movie that's 20 years old.
steel
Yeah,
book
it's a yes, with a
and
slipcover. Yeah,
and a digital
couple of
code if
discs.
you act now, kids. But some other
Yeah,
discs in here, like, look at that's a great looking set right there.
it is a good looking set. And a lot of people online were saying that they appreciated the fact of having the director's cut on its own disc and not just shoehorned onto one where you could do like seamless branching.
Yeah.
That's not the thing on this. You can watch the director's cut on its own disc, which I guess allows it to flourish a little more in terms of
Yeah.
picture and sound. By the way, did you enjoy the Atmos track? And I assume that you did.
It was very good. Yeah. It was, the sounds are all around you, which is what
Yeah.
you want in a haunted house kind of movie. Because
For sure.
there's plenty going on behind you with creaks and knocks and stuff like that happening.
Yeah. And like some heartbreaking stuff too, like where he's
Yeah.
visiting his dying father, and then his dead daughter is kind of resurrected, or he thinks she is for a time, and then she dies again in his
Again.
arms. And he's saying, don't do this to me again. It was like, holy crap. And there was another cool scene where he was like, on his laptop trying to have an internet connection with his ex-wife on like a video call, and it's not him. It turns out it's like the room is impersonating him and saying, oh, you need to come down here. They were trying to ensnare her as well. It was like, fuck, man, this thing is diabolical.
Yeah.
everywhere
room.
you turn. Yeah, the room.
Yeah,
The
and it's
room
not
was
even
somehow alive.
that's what's so cool about it. It's like, it's not a
Yeah.
ghost of somebody that died in the room. It's the room itself is this evil room in a hotel, and they had to rent it out because it was in good shape, and then he caused the burning of the room and so forth. So it's still worth everybody check this thing out. This is a really good movie.
Sure, and it wasn't just one person. Remember Samuel Jackson said 56 deaths
Yeah.
occurred, and then they repeated it. And
Yeah.
like John Cusack's character was like, 56? He's like, yep. And he
Yeah.
gave him the book. He said, I'll give you all the information. I just don't want you going in there. He didn't listen. In that way, it's kind of a familiar trope where you don't heed the warning of the guy who actually knows what's up to your own peril. So anyway, great movie. Check it out. I love it.
Absolutely.
I'm happy to have it in my Stephen King library. It's definitely on the upper tier of King movies for sure.
Yeah, his short stories, when they get adapted, that's the magic, because you can just build that. There's just so much depth in his stories that
Yeah.
you can build that out. That's your Shawshank Redemption. That's your Stand By Me, The Body.
Yes.
That's this. Short stories tend to, I think, translate better to
The Running
films.
Man.
The Running Man, exactly.
There you go.
All right.
All right, Jay. I think we should get our second shot in there, eh? I don't know about you, but pretty thirsty after that.
To love. Our love of 1408. Cheers.
Wonderful.
Did you want to do a 4K, or do you want to go to rip from the headlines?
I can just very briefly, because we were talking about swapping things back and forth. You were kind enough to give me not one, but 2 seasons of Seinfeld in 4K. I'm telling you right now, I am burning through season 8. I watched probably 6 or 8 episodes already. By the way, perfect condition, no disc errors, no skipping, no nothing that you need to worry about. I'm more than happy to check. Thank you for loaning. But you were right. You said many moons ago, we've been watching Seinfeld all wrong. And I didn't quite get it until, season 8 looks incredible. You want to talk about details on the clothing in Jerry's apartment. You can almost make out some of the movies that were like on his shelf by the stereo. Like just little things like that are just, everything's popping and it just looks fantastic. And these episodes also with the extra scene that we were losing because of TV and commercials. There's like these extra bits at the very end. I was like, I've never seen any of this.
Yeah, as it went to syndication, they added in more commercials for syndication to make more money. So they've been chopping it back year over year. And now here we are. We get it in the full format. And like you said, I owned the DVDs originally.
Yeah.
But
did that include that as well? Did they have
it
those?
Did. It was the full episode. But you weren't seeing details. You weren't reading the movies that were on the shelf or the cereal boxes. Here we get to see everything. We are in Seinfeld's world. I'm glad that you are getting to enjoy it and test those discs for me.
Yeah, I'm happy to do it, Jay. I'll test the rest of your collection. No problem at all, because I'll be done before you even finish season 4. I think you're on season 4.
I think.
Anyway, it's fantastic. And thank you very much for that. And if anyone out there is considering a purchase, if you want to add Seinfeld 4K to your library, I think this is an absolute buy with confidence. It looks stunning.
Yeah.
And it is in the original 4:3. So if that bothers you, maybe you don't want the 4K restorations. If you're a purist and you do want to see the best, but also have it in that original 4:3 format, buy with confidence.
Great, which I like. If you want the widescreen, Blu-ray, that you got to go Blu-ray, because those are cut that way and I'm sure with the 4K TV, that'll up convert nicely. I didn't give a star rating, 4.5 out of stars. I told you for 1408. So I wanted the extra 0.5 for the blacks. So given that, the blacks that surround everything there. It's incredible. And
it looks great.
Anyway, okay, we have time for one rip from the headlines, I believe. So why don't I scroll through some that you sent me? And I'm going to hit this one. I see a picture of something that you're going to like very much. So let me read the headline of this. Fungi mining and giant waste piles. How to get rare earths without mining rock. And it's a picture of mushrooms. That's why
That's what attracted me, Jay.
Yeah.
I was thinking, like, what else can these things, what can't they do?
Like, it's almost the whole story in the headline there. Fungi, mining, and giant waste piles, how to get rare earths without mining rocks. What do you think, Barry?
I think it might be they're going to apply some pressure to those piles of rubbish and perhaps form something useful out of it. I don't know. It makes me think of, Superman 3 when he uses all of his might and he takes that piece of coal and makes a diamond. I think that's, I don't know. What else could it be?
A perfectly formed diamond, wasn't it?
Oh yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful
he didn't have to do anything to it. It was ready to go into a ring.
Yeah. Well, it would have been quite a ring. That's for
quite
sure.
A ring. I think that perhaps this has to do with how fungi are going to be instead of rare earth minerals, you're going to be able to use perhaps like dried out mushrooms to be able to get some benefits from. What do you think about that?
Well, I feel like those benefits are already here. And for those
Okay,
who are in the know, they have been enjoyed for some time now. But you're talking about like an electronics application
maybe.
because this is like a rare
Yeah,
earths that they're trying to get, which we need those minerals for phones and tablets and
yeah.
that kind of stuff.
Imagine if a fungus would
A
power the
mushroom
car.
powered iPhone?
Yeah, or that. Yeah, imagine that. Just rub a mushroom on it and it's
I'm in.
okay. Well, we've got that. How about
100%
one
in.
more? Because we've got one more to go through
Yeah,
here. We've
that
got
was
a little time.
quick.
That was a quick one. How about this? Here's a question
Yeah.
for you. Picture of a
Okay.
NASA space shuttle. Have you got what it takes to go to the moon, Barry? That's a question for you.
Is it
What do
just
you
go to the moon or live on the moon? I thought I'd said live
go
on the
to?
moon.
No, what it
Go
takes to
to?
go to. So you just got to get
Okay.
there, spend a few minutes, come back. Or you can live if you got what it takes. What is it? Have you got what it takes?
I definitely don't. I don't have what it takes to live there. Certainly not.
No. Who knew to go there? Do you think you could survive a trip?
I don't know, man. It's kind of a cool idea, but you know me, I'm a creature of habits.
Yeah.
I like my friendly environment. I like my friends. My friends going? If it's like a space shuttle with you and a bunch of my, closest besties, yeah, okay,
Okay.
let's go. Let's go for a bit. But it's also dangerous as hell out there, and all it would take is one little moon rock traveling at 14,000 kilometers an hour to crash into the thing and make a little
Yeah.
hole. And next thing you know, you're done.
Well, that
Very
hasn't happened
risky,
yet.
very risky. Hasn't happened, but the Artemis 2 mission is about to. At the time of this recording, it hasn't happened yet, but NASA is planning to do a pass by, like go
The moon.
around the
Yeah.
moon. They're just
I
going
meant
around it.
around it.
Yeah,
I
they're
meant
not landing, but they're
yeah, I meant like rocks haven't been really penetrating the hulls of spaceships.
that
So
we
I don't know
know
how
of.
risky. That we
That
know
we
of. You're
know
right. They
of.
don't tell us every time that happens.
They don't. And there's a lot of debris, a lot of garbage, just like around the Earth, like old
Yeah.
satellites and all kinds of shit that's up
And
there.
you're right. And there's more every day. So that is risky.
And aliens are probably looking. It's like, why do we want to go there? It looks disgusting. What's that ring of trash that they have around there? They're somehow proud of that. I don't
Maybe
get
that
it.
was Saturn. We were talking about the ring on Saturn. Maybe it's just old
Yeah, but that's
trash.
rock. That's rock, but it's not trash. It's not trash like
We don't know. We haven't been that close.
disused Soviet era satellites. I don't think.
What about the fact you have to, I think you drink your own pee. Isn't that kind of what happens there? Like the water is recycled from your sweat and
Yeah, I
urine
think
and kind of anywhere.
And all your friends too. So it's all like
And all your friends.
together.
You're
It's
drinking.
like a big old fruit punch of human excrement being recycled for
Yeah.
everybody. Raise a toast, Jay.
I don't think
I
you
don't know.
can. Also on the space shuttle, do you think, other than maybe one celebratory bottle of champagne, I'm not sure
Right.
there'd be room for like a volume of 2-4 cans or even Guinness.
Oh, I think we'd have to make room. I
Okay,
think we'd have
got it.
to jettison some other heavier cargo. They're like, "What are you
That's
doing?"
perfect.
That's the whole purpose. Yeah. Anyway, it's
All right.
a cool thought experiment. But what about you? Just quickly before we wrap up, would you do
Yeah,
it?
I don't think I have what it takes either. I kind of like to be around home and
Yeah.
my omnibuses, they probably wouldn't allow as well for more room for other practical things they may think about, but
You could probably
Yeah.
get one under your spacesuit,
I might.
but
You're
only
right.
one.
Just the one. So that's it. I don't think I would go. I think you and I could let it pass. There's a lot of people that would like to go, and I say,
Sure.
good luck to them. I
God
would
bless
want to
you.
take up their
Yeah.
seat. Okay,
Yeah. Same.
great. Well, speaking of taking up too much of a seat or too much time, I think we've used up ours for the day.
I think we
And
have.
yeah, I think that's plenty. So 1408, check it out. Seinfeld, Buy with Confidence in 4K. If you want
Yep.
our seats to the moon, they're yours. Just let us know. Dear listener, dear viewer, please join us again next week on this exciting
Yeah.
adventure we call Two Shot Tuesday. Barry, fun fact, this was episode 280 we just recorded. So like 20
Unbelievable.
more to go to 300.
Whew. I'm excited, Jay.
Me too.
All
Have a
right.
good
We'll
night.
see you next week.
For sure. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Two Shot Tuesday. The show is produced by Barry and I and edited by me. If you have yet to rate and review the show on Apple Podcasts, please take a second to do so now. It helps us grow, and it helps new audiences to find the show. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram at Two Shot Tuesday, and on Twitter at Two Shot Tuesday Podcast. Stop by, give us a follow, leave us a comment, and share your favorite episodes. If you have a question you'd like featured on the show, you can send us a text at 647-486-4848. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.